Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and today we are playing Too Many Bones, finishing off an encounter of which a traitor had died, and we had decided to try to be a hero, and now Patches is just angry and wants to take all of these enemies out, and he's actually doing a half-decent job. In the last video, we had entered the fatigue round, something we'd never seen in our playthrough series to this point. At this juncture, what ends up happening at the beginning of every round going forward from the 6th round is everyone on the battle mat will take 1 damage, and it's essentially damage that is not blockable in any means or by any game mechanic. Everyone has to take it. So where we are right now is we initiated Patches as the first player here, but we initiated Patches as the first player, but also we had hit him for the 1 damage, and we'd also taken him, given him a 1 poison hit because he originally was a 2. There was a 2 on him in the last video. He has that innate ability to heal for 1, so whenever he has a 2, he only gets hit for 1, and now it's been ticked down to 1 for the next round. Cool thing is that right now we can attack, and we have to make a big decision. Now, we know the bog pole, there's no point thematically, or not thematically, but strategically, there's no point in going after this guy on this turn. The reason is because he's got 1 health left, and the fatigue die will kill him automatically at the end of the next round. What we do need to do is make sure we're either healthy enough to survive longer than the clay golem, or get the clay golem down as low as possible. So I'm going to roll a bunch of dice, and they are going to be things like, I'm going to roll these. I'm also going to keep this defense die there. So I'm going to roll these 2 dice in order to give myself some health and get myself boosted. And I'm also going to roll some attack dice to hit the clay golem with as much as we can. So I'm rolling 4 attack dice and 2 of my skill dice. And we'll see what we can get out of this mixture here. And hopefully, if we get real lucky, we can just kill him outright. Or at least get him to 4 so that the fatigue will take him down. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Hey, that's not a bad roll. So we got exactly what we needed. So we got 2 bones. So let's see how this pans out. We got quite a cool combination here. This is going to be fun to see how this pans out. So we've got enough to do 4 damage first off against him. So 4 damage, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, actually, he's dead. Never mind. I thought he had 5 on him, but I forgot he had taken a fatigue from the last round, guys. We killed him. He is gone. So that's awesome. Well done, Patches. So he took... Now, this guy, I can tell you right now, he is one of the most hated enemies on the board. If you get him... I can see if you were able to get him while there were other strong enemies on the board, he becomes a real big problem because of this ability on him called Break, which we talked about in previous videos. So because I use these dice to actually do damage against his HP, they become exhausted. I don't get these back. They go into the exhausted die side of your board, and essentially they count against how many total attack dice you have to roll on your further attacks. So really, at this point now, even though I have available 4, typically, I've already 2 of them are exhausted, so going forward I can only attack with 2 dice. The reason why that's okay is because I made sure to kill him way late in the whole game. And if I'd have done it early, I would have spent a whole bunch of attack dice, which would have totally screwed me trying to kill off these little guys. Now, next up is our bones we rolled. We rolled 2 bones, so we can drop them in here. I don't think we've ever had this high amount of bones before. So let's take a look to see what the heck a needle jab or a fortunate discovery would allow us to do. We know that regardless at the end of or at the start of the next round, he dies and Patches is going to be okay. So really, in essence, we've won the fight, but failed the encounter because the traitor died. But it was still fun to play through it anyway. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So here's the backup plan of 4 backup dice. Let's take a look and see what type of items or things we can get. This one says Fortunate Discovery. So you select a consumable die and place it in its skills slot. It is now available for use. Interesting. So that's really cool. Now, my understanding, and I'm going to do that because there's no point in doing a needle jab or healing. I'm definitely doing a Fortunate Discovery. And so I don't know too much about the consumable dice. These are the consumable dice here. Liquid Life, Poison Dart, or E-Cells Consumable. Okay? So in order to find out more about what these dice do, we can just take a look at their faces here. So we've got this one here, we've got this one here, and we've got this one here. And so if we go ahead and we get to choose these, now the real big question is, when I pay for one of them using these 4 for my backup plan, the question I'm going to be checking on is whether or not I can keep the consumable die going into the next encounter, or is it something that disappears? I don't think consumable dice disappear. I think once you get them from your backup plan, they're there until you actually use them. When you consume them, that's why they're called a consumable, then they would disappear and you wouldn't get them back, I assume. I have to double check that because I haven't actually run into these just yet. But this is really cool, so we get to learn a little bit more about some different things. So this die here has a face that has this little symbol right here in the middle. It says revive, so it goes in your, it's used instantly, sorry. It's also used in an active slot and has a double A there saying it's used in allies active slots. You restore a KO'd Gearlock to a number of HP. If this die is in an active slot, it triggers automatically. Oh, cool. If KO'd. Hey, that's really good. So basically, Liquid Life is like reviving your character and giving you just that little bit of health to potentially survive. And you know what? When we fight Drellen, this could be the one we want. Now, there's other good stuff here. How about the Poison Dart? Let's take a look at what the Poison Dart does. Poison Dart, if you place a number of poison effect die on any baddie. Okay, cool. So you roll this, and if you get, I'm assuming, yeah, there's a whole bunch of poison marks there. If you get one of them, you can stick it on a baddie, and you're obviously poisoning them over time. Is there a bone on this, or is it all? Oh, that's awesome. So you guarantee revive. There's no bone on that. Awesome. E-cells. I know E-cells are kind of cool. I think I've seen them before used somehow. But they essentially are attached by, they're called energy cells, and they're locked, and you control them, and you roll them when acquired, and you reduce your control by 1. So basically, if you get a 1, it reduces to 0. If you get a 2, it reduces to 1. It's similar to poison in how it counts, or it's a controlled, or it's used as a counter, sorry. And you can roll your Zap Pack or to use your overcharge backup plan. Oh, yes. So you can basically use an energy cell and roll this counter down 1 in order to roll your Zap Pack, which is right here, but we never got that far yet, although we could take a look to see how cool that is. Zap Pack is 11. It looks like this. It kind of has like a little up and down monitor, kind of like your heart monitor thing. So it says restore a KO'd Gearlock to a number of HP. Okay, so it's kind of similar to, I guess the E-cells can actually be really, really good. But the thing is, we need to unlock enough to get down there. So anyway, moving on, the other option for the E-cell dice is to use your overcharge backup plan. Now, what in the heck is that? Well, that is similar to as if you had gotten 5 bones in your backup plan. So it says reduce your E-cells by 1 and then electrify any baddie for 4 true damage. That's pretty cool. So that's like so basically it's a debate. Like in my mind, I sit there and go, this is really cool if you want to guarantee to have a true damage strike against an enemy, which would be amazing during a battle, especially against Drellen. The other one that's really cool is this one allowing you to revive when you die. So in other words, if you can't hold on long enough, this could keep you alive. Really, both of these, in my opinion, it's these two that I'm looking at. I'm not too sure which one to pick. So what I'm going to do is we're going to finish this off. And before we move into the other encounter, I want you guys in the comments below to let me know whether we should be spending our 4 backup plan bones dies to go for the Liquid Life one, the Poison Dart, or the E-cells. We've kind of gone through them just now, so you can let me know which one we should choose. And then, in between videos, I'm going to check to ensure that when we spend these 4 bones, this consumable stays activated and available for us into the next encounter until we use it, at least, until it's gone, right? And that's my assumption because it's called a consumable, meaning you use it until it's gone, it's consumed. So anyway, that was the bones of our roll. We're not even done our roll talk here. This is crazy. Okay, so we pulled these 2 when we rolled them as well, so let's take a look at what they mean. One is obvious. One is the minor heal. Heal any Gearlock for that number of HP, so that would be 2. The cool thing is we rolled a ×2, and that says heal assist. And it's used instantly. It's used in a lock slot, and it says a rolled med kit or med pack, and we just rolled our med kit die result may be multiplied by 2. So I can essentially right now sit there and think, all right, well, I could try to heal myself up so that I can be almost at full health for the next, you know what, it might not be a bad idea actually. Is it worth it? Let's see. Lock dice. My question is, or my mind goes to wondering about lock dice, and at the end of a battle, I'm pretty sure, just give me a second here, I want to double check this to be sure that I do this correctly. Here we go, lock slots. Alright, so, lock dice remain here from battle to battle until used. These dice must be cleared if a Gearlock is KO'd. Skill dice, and these slots must be, nice, okay, so, essentially what I can do is I can lock this in. So in other words, we don't want, first off, we don't want to die, right? We know that off the top. We do not want to die. So what I can do is I can lock this, what I can do is I can spend this one to give me 2 health instantly. We need that because at the beginning of the next round, we all take a fatigue and both of us would die. And we don't want that to happen. So now we're at 3. So this is now exhausted. Now this die, we do not have, now that one was a used instantly die. You can see that from the reference sheet that talks about it right there. There's an I next to minor heal. So it's used right away, you don't get a choice. This one says used instantly or locked. Like there's 2 options and it's a heal assist, right? So you can actually lock this die in and say, you know what, I really like that roll. I'm gonna lock this in. So we're gonna do this because we haven't had any locked dice in our playthrough yet. I'm gonna lock it in there and I can actually keep that there from encounter to encounter. Locked dice remain in that area from battle to battle until used, which is awesome. So it means later down the line, I don't have to spend a dex to roll that. It's almost ready for me for another time. So that's really cool. So I'm pretty happy about that. And that's it. That would be the end. Of course, the golem itself is gone. Can't believe he's a 1-point baddie. He's a pretty vicious guy. He doesn't attack with much, but he's still nasty. Okay, so we have now covered that. And then the poison is going to, now we're going to activate the bog pole. He's got a poison of 1, but I already have my poison 1 on me, so I can't have any more. This guy just got killed, so his dice come off the mat. We only have 2 of us left. Now we each take a fatigue going into essentially what would have been round 7. So round 7 kills the bog pole and boom, we have done it. We were able to get our revenge for all of the pain and suffering that that was put on the trader. We weren't able to save him, but we were able to at least clear out the area. So I'm gonna go ahead. So he's now been killed. The poison effect die, I don't know how that resolves exactly. Technically, that would actually still hit me, I believe, because it would still be on me. So I'm going to play this round through. So essentially, I would get hit with a fatigue because I can't block it myself. The poison would hit me, but I have my innate recovery of 1, so essentially nothing happens. So I leave the battle mat, even though I successfully survived. I leave with 2 damage, or 2 health tokens, I should say. But at least we were able to kill off all the enemies and make them suffer a little bit, which is kind of fun. So now I'm going to throw all these back in here just to kind of set for the next battle. Well, this is pretty cool. I mean, even though we lost, it was still quite a bit of fun to actually go that far. I'm glad we did because we actually learned a little bit about locked slots. We also talked a little bit more about our backup plans. We started learning about consumables. So we actually got to see quite a bit. And our wonderful boomerang is now back in our hands. We pick it up off the battlefield, essentially, and is back for us in another battle. So we have to hope to roll better on those D6s in the future to avoid, having bad things happen to us. So we're back to a round 1 and our initiative die comes off the track. We can now clear all of our exhausted dice, can go back to their slots. Let's throw that in there. Toxins are back. These can go back. Now what I'm doing is I'm not clearing, I'm going to clear this because you're supposed to clear this after a battle. I'm not going to clear this just yet because in between, I will clear this and we'll talk about this in the next video, but for now I'm leaving it here to remind myself that I'm leaving this up to you guys. We are going to do a fortunate discovery, which allows us to get one of these dice. I want you guys to put that in the comment, which one of these 3, based on what we went over, was the one you think is going to be the most worthwhile for not only the next regular encounter, but even more importantly for Drellen on day 10. All right, so fire in your comments. You already heard my thoughts on it, but I want to hear yours. So we're done. We finished off that battle. Have we forgotten anything? We've set the battle mat back to 1. Everything's back here. Chips are good. Dice are back. I think we're okay. Now the only thing we have to take a look at is, sadly, we can look at everything we didn't get. So we're not going to get a trove loop because our trader didn't survive. We also don't get the training point, the loot, or the progress point. Everything went south on that one. So this essentially is our first failed encounter. I'm just going to put it over to the side. Sadly, I thought I could get a perfect play, but, this game's supposed to be tough. And that's the crazy thing, too, is that I didn't realize how difficult of a game I had run into when I first started playing this. Because it actually, at the very back of the book, which I think I saw when I first read it, it has a section here that talks about the 3 levels of difficulty you can play. I'm not going to go over these, but you can pause the screen and read them for yourself. But essentially, we are playing the Seasoned Adventure, which means we have no candy-coated gear locks, no training freebies, and too many bones straight up, meaning we are not being... I never played this with any handouts. This was, we played this to this point as if we have been playing this many, many times and know what we're doing. So I think at this point we do know what we're doing. At least I feel comfortable anyway. But I don't think it's a recommended way to play. I think they say to kind of start on Greenhorn Adventure and kind of work your way up. But I was like, the heck with it. Let's just jump right in there and see how terrible this is. Of course, we had a lot of lucky rolls, guys, as well. We know that. So we're going to go ahead now and talk about what happens when you fail an encounter, because that's a whole bunch of fun, right? So we have, you can even see it in the adventure routine here. When you finish an encounter, which is in the bottom left, there's a no or a yes, right? We've always gone to divide spoils and apply training points and log process. We don't do that this time because we did not successfully resolve the encounter. So we go to recovery, meaning we can go ahead and do what we are very used to doing, which is picking up... at the end of each day, after your encounter has been resolved, your party enters the recovery phase. And you can do trading loot, which we don't have any reason to. No lock picking. We can do individual options. So we can, each gearlock may choose one of the following. So we can either rest at full HP, which I think makes sense. Search for better loot. Ugh, really tempting. And debatable. And I know, guys, there's also that debate where I could, because it was on my last turn, I could times that heal by 2. It would get me up to 4, but really 4 out of 6 is like not really that wonderful. Like, I wouldn't want to go into a battle with 4 health, because then I'm like already stretched in terms of trying to heal myself, and I just don't think that'd be a productive thing. So you know what? I think instead of doing the search for better loot, which I'd love to do by chucking one of these things that I do not need at this point, I am going to gonna rest, because we need to get Patches back to full health. So whatever encounter he deals with next, he's ready to go. So he's back to 6. So we've rested up, and now essentially we've finished that day. So day number 8 is done. We move on to day number 9. So let's get that counter rotated, and there we go, day number 9. So we are still just outside Shellfish, exploring in the forest, and from what I heard from you guys, we are doing an encounter. We're going to do a general encounter. That was the gamble. We were like, originally my plan was, let's just jump right into it and have 2 days to fight Drellen. But you know what, guys? Let's just try to power up as much as we can, right? These consumable dice are going to help us. Maybe this encounter will help us. We'll see. How about we read it right now and find out? Here we go. Encounter, risky payoff. Oh, like a perfect title. Like, it could not be any perfect, because that's exactly what we need, a risky payoff. The Ebon, evil as they were, still show a strange cross-species loyalty. Trolls won't hesitate to call for help from an orc, a kobold, or even a bog scum. A fight may look winnable, but it's often not worth the risk. Lucky for me, creatures of the Ebon almost always have a price. I wonder if the menacing figure ambling toward me can simply be bribed with something shiny in exchange for safe passage. Unfortunately, if he has friends hiding in those bushes, they might be waiting to take a whole lot more than a shiny object. Huh, interesting. So it looks like we're going to come down to some type of crazy choice here. Let's see what we got. What is this? Okay. So, oh, cool. It looks like we have an actual split path for the first time here. We've got a battle at the top, potentially, and a passive kind of choice at the bottom. That's cool. So the top one says stand your ground. You would build your baddie queue. You could potentially get a loot and a training point, which is always good. At the end of rounds 3 to 5, you roll a d6, and on a 1 to 3, add a 1-point baddie to the bottom. Nasty. Or 4 to 6, none join. So basically, you have picked a fight with this guy who you've run across on your travels, and decided to just go stand your ground and just fight him. Basically, he doesn't look friendly, and you don't like the way he looks, and you're just thinking he's a threat, so you're going to battle him. That's essentially choice number 1. Or choice number 2 is essentially maybe a peace offering is worth a shot. So trying to persuade him, maybe. If we choose this, we get a training point. We don't get the loot, so we have to make a decision there. But hey, training points are what we after, so maybe the peaceful route is the safer idea. We'll see. It says, if you have a loot to offer. Hey, talking about loot to offer. I've got some loot to offer. I've got quite a few that I don't even like anymore. Choose one and place it on the battle mat. Roll a d6. If 1 to 3 the loot is taken, but baddie is not satisfied, make encounter choice again. Interesting. Okay. 4 to 6, loot is taken and baddie leaves. No battle. Okay, so 4 to 6 makes sense. What is 1 to 3? Loot is taken. Oh, he just takes the loot and you have to go again. So you could just potentially start. Okay, so essentially if you want that's nasty. So if you're like really at the end of the day, we'd be wanting to get 4 to 6, right? Because we want your loot that you're giving this guy. You want him to agree that it's okay and he wants it and he's happy, you're happy, and you walk along and have a peaceful offering and everyone's happy. But if you get a 1 to 3, you basically give him an item and he looks at it and he says, thanks a lot, and he puts it in his pocket and says, not good enough, give me more. And you got to continue, keep giving him loot, essentially. Now we've got, the good thing is we have options. I'd be okay, essentially, with this one going and this one. This one's number 1 for sure. The hammer is useless at this point. It's not shiny, so he probably won't take it. But we can try to give it to him. And then worst case scenario, we could try the Spirits of Ebon. And I can tell you, it would be way more worthwhile because look at what we get here. We would end up getting a training point on the bottom one as well as an extra training point here. That's 2. That would help us out with things like getting Bone Saw as well as one other particular. We could get, we could go for Med Pack, we could go for Nutrients, Stem Kit. So there's quite a few options for that second training point. That would be really, really cool. So this is a great encounter. This could not have worked out any better. And the name of this card, honestly, in terms of our traveling, could not work out any better. Because really, we took a risk by doing this general encounter. This could have just been a straight up battle and with loot. And that wouldn't have really, in my opinion, been what we wanted. We have the opportunity to get ourselves that Bone Saw we've been drooling over for, I think, 3 videos now. So hopefully that'll pan out. That's pretty much it, guys. I think what I'll do is I'm going to leave you with 2 things. So the first thing, as I mentioned, I think twice already, we're going to go ahead and use Fortunate Discovery, and we're going to take one of these consumables. Which consumable do you want to see Patches have in his reserve going forward? Let me know in the comments below. Off to the side of the video, I'm going to double check to make sure that consumable lives on from until used, and I believe it does, but I'll just double check that. Second thing I want you to comment about is what we should do for a choice. All right, we got the top choice, which is stand your ground and fight, or we can try to make peaceful offerings and hope to just take 2 training points and run, and that would be amazing, and then we can get right to Drellen. Now I'm telling you right now, my choice is leaning much more towards the latter of those 2. I think the second choice is the best. We should be trying to make peace with this guy. We've already gotten into enough trouble in the last encounter trying to be a hero and save a traitor, and that didn't really pan out too well, although we were able to kill them all off, which was nice. The traitor died. So maybe we should just try to not be the hero this time and just sit back and see, you know, be a little bit of a coward for once. And see if we can use that to our advantage to help us with John. So let me know in the comments below what you want to do when I get the majority of the comments in and we get a decent amount and I'm happy with how much we've received for feedback. Then we'll pump through into the next, well, I guess we'll pump through this encounter, this day we're on. So we are on day 9. This is Too Many Bones. Hope you guys have been enjoying. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't before, and I really hope you guys are enjoying. I appreciate all of you, your feedback, comments. The fact you're even watching this is amazing. I love playing these games with you guys, and this community is growing at a substantial rate that's kind of blowing my mind. But at the end of the day, we're just playing games together, and it's fun. It always will be fun, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. So, till next time, keep on rolling solo.